Get ready for the trip of a lifetime. This is the series that brings you the most incredible and downright shocking holiday behaviour. Capturing stupid antics on smartphones. With a camera in every tourist's pocket, we're getting into the action like never before. Raw, real and uncensored. This is the world's wildest holidays. This time on World's Wildest Holidays. Avalanche! We get snowed under in the Alps.
I couldn't do anything except hope that I was going to live.
Take a crash course in skydiving.
Bang, we got hit from the top and the wing came off and blew up right above our head.
And tumble into the leaderboard at Britain's most extreme event.
A lot of them want to come and try it, so obviously some of them are a bit crazy as well.
For many of us, going on holiday means leaving the stresses of the modern world behind and heading somewhere more peaceful, more tranquil. Provided, that is, you can survive the journey there. These brawling passengers got a knockout deal on a flight from Beijing to Bangkok. But what happened to make them resort to senseless violence? We talked to someone who had front row seats, Siver Lauritsen from Sweden.
So, as far as I recall, and as far as I was told by the other passengers, as my Chinese is pretty rusty, there was an argument regarding the meal service and how far back a certain couple in the flight was leaning their seats back.
Someone's been served a knuckle sandwich.
The big guy came up to complain that they were leaning their seats too far back. And the couple in front were just super angry at that guy for having the audacity to suggest that maybe during dinner you can lean your seats to the upright position. But then this guy comes up from his seat and tries to calm the situation down. But the guy in front isn't having any of that, and he soon picks up his tray table and throws it at the big guy.
That's just plain crazy.
And then the guy in black comes and is angry because his wife got hit with some object that the little guy was throwing. And now he wants in on the fight as well. You can see from the very start that there's no way this tiny guy is going to be able to overpower this huge guy.
In the interests of fairness, we asked those involved if they wanted to be interviewed. They reclined. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt. But in terms of in-flight entertainment, they were a smash hit. However, there are other ways to deal with aggressive passengers. As demonstrated by this silver-haired superhero. He would describe this as a non-lethal chokehold. We call it choking the chicken.
Citizens arrest, dropped him. Shine. Oh, no! Like a little boy. Mate, you're powerful doing that, man.
He'd be welcome on my flight anytime.
Don't hurt him on the way out.
The guys in this clip, maybe not so much. Thanks to one passenger cracking an ill-advised gag about contracting the Ebola virus.
I think the man that has said this is an idiot, and I'll say that straight out.
They've rolled out the red carpet for some VIPs. The boys in blue are here to rid the plane of the irritant. Not the disease, I'm talking about the prankster. If they can ever find him. Finding a seat on a packed holiday aircraft is tricky at the best of times. But you'd think these space cadets were looking for Area 51, not Seat 51. Having located the Joker, they give him a dressing down. And cart him off for a hosing down. Thankfully, the only environmental hazard they found was the chicken surprise that was served in flight. But this passenger won't be telling any more sick jokes, that's for sure. Now, presuming you survive the flight, For God's sake, behave yourself when you arrive. When Tommy Allen and girlfriend Shawnee travelled to Thailand, Shawnee left a day early, leaving Tommy with time to kill. A Brit? Alone in Thailand? What could possibly go wrong?
That evening, I was riding my moped through the city and I got stopped at the traffic lights. They said, "Where's your licence?" I was like, "I don't have one." So they arrested me, made me spend 2 nights in a horrific Thai prison. It was absolutely horrible.
As soon as I got to London,
Yeah.
got my phone out, had signal finally, massive message from a random charity worker. And the photo was a lovely, attractive photo of Tommy behind bars in prison. And I was, wow, it's definitely not a joke.
I actually set a Facebook status saying, "Send help, I'm in a Thai prison." And everyone was like...
No, you're joking.
They were like, "This is a
It's a
prank."
joke.
And then I was like, "No, I'm serious. I need help. I'm in a Thai prison." But luckily I had one friend that was able to send me some money and help me out. But yeah, we'll make sure next time we go, we book the flights together. So we go home together.
You best guarantee it won't happen again, because that's an image that will never be erased from my memory.
I know what you mean. Tommy really doesn't suit sleeveless vests. In a moment, we'll be leaving claustrophobic airline cabins behind and stepping out into fresh alpine air. Oh, you were lucky. Now that's what you call perfect timing. 2 fails for the price of 1. But keeping your skis on is only half of what skiing is about. You've also got to try to look cool while you're doing it. And this guy has managed to fail at both. Looks like he's going to be going for a while. We'll come back to him later.
Hey Simon, it's Sarah. It's a beauty day in Whistler today, but I just wanted to say happy belated birthday to you. This one's for you.
Oh, bless. This skier has decided to record a birthday message for our friend while on the slopes. How thoughtful. Although I'm pretty sure he asked for a PlayStation. Oh, maybe you didn't get the hint.
Oh yeah!
I love birthdays. I love the cards, the cake, the parties. Most importantly, the surprises. Surprise! And sticking with the birthday theme, here's the gift that keeps on giving. All right, I think we've had enough. Trying to look cool on the slopes is one thing, but our next holidaymakers had to keep their cool when they found themselves skating on thin ice.
You ski better than I do, so if I can do it, you can do it.
Meet Alex and Teddy, whose ski trip to Wildest ended up being a nail-biter. Teddy, it's a figure of speech.
Love to go on holidays. Skiing's always been a very big part of my life ever since I was 3 years old. And I've been skiing with Alex for pretty much my entire life too.
I'm guessing he was a bit older than 3 when you started.
We try to go off-piste as much as possible. It's a fine balance between going where we know or going with a guide.
Fine balance indeed. Because going rogue on the slopes could set you on a collision course with one of these. Avalanches, caused when a layer of snow collapses and slides downhill at speeds of up to 90 kilometers per hour. Only 1 in 3 people buried by an avalanche is found alive. Not great odds, considering there were 2 of you. So you will be careful now, lads, won't you?
I remember it being an absolutely glorious day. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd day into the trip.
The slopes were our own. We went off under the rope with a guide. Perfectly legal thing to do. And we set off with about 6 or 7 of us down the hill, down the mountain rather.
Is anyone else starting to feel a bit nervous?
We were just going down the glacier at this point.
It had already been a bit slope, and this was quite an icy slope here. And the guy who's miles ahead in the distance, he turns.
Brace yourself for Snowmageddon.
Avalanche!
Just a rush of the snow. I heard the shout. I didn't know what it was. I was then aware that it was an avalanche, and I thought I wasn't in it. I thought I was not. And then I realised I was actually moving without just being stationary.
Alex also caught the very moment the snow gave way on camera.
I'm there taking the straps off my wrist to get my, throw my ski sticks away because you don't want to be trapped with them as you're going down. And here I was just buffeted and tumbled down the slope. I didn't know which way was up. The snow was too heavy and just pushing me all over the place. I couldn't do anything except hope that I was going to live. I travelled about 500 metres down the mountain. That took only about 30 seconds, so you're moving very, very fast, and there's nothing you can do with that until the avalanche releases you from its grip.
And of course, the irony of being killed by an avalanche is they have to dig you out before they can bury you again.
I managed to ski off in front and get round the side. Just because I felt it go and it went underneath me, but I just managed to get in front of it. And I just remember watching you coming down the hill, tumbling, and sometimes I couldn't see you and sometimes I could see you. And I remember having to go, right, there's 2 people in there, keep an eye on them, because if you lose sight of them, they might not come up.
Surviving an ordeal like this takes physical and mental stamina. So, Alex, what went through your mind on this Polar Express to the bottom of the mountain?
What I could think of was I'd not be dying today as I went down. Is that I'm not going to die before my birthday. So we were having a party that night and I wasn't going to miss that.
Yeah, the celebrations would be on ice, as indeed would you.
By the time we got out, we skied down and met the others for lunch.
Hang on, 2 seconds ago you were nearly crushed by a ton of snow, and now you're elbow deep in fondue. This story's more avalanche than avalanche.
But yes, we had a very nice evening and celebrated Alex's birthday.
Talk about the icing on the cake. A nice trip abroad would put most of us in high spirits. Quite literally in some cases. Because it seems our holidaymakers are never happier than when they're harnessing themselves to a flimsy buckle and dangling their bodies dangerously high above the ground. This pair, Megan and Jed, thought that ziplining in Thailand would be a great way to hang out. But for this pair, it turned into something of a letdown. Hold on. And in this case, when she says hold on, she means it. Because I'm pretty sure he's not meant to be dangling from the rope like that. Hold tight, Jed. We're almost at the other side. Wait, what are we going backwards for? This is an emergency. This zip line gives tourists the chance to speed through the jungles of Chiang Mai, hundreds of feet above the ground. Which is great, provided the guides remember to hook your carabiner to the line. Which, in Jed's case, they didn't, leaving him high, dry, and clinging to his friend for dear life.
Connect him! Connect him!
Thank God, help has arrived. Can we get you anything, Jed? Something to take your mind off things.
I want free beer for this.
Jetcher, this is all on video.
Fucking die! I would rather fall here.
Oh, of course, because that tin roof looks really sturdy.
You buy me free 10,000 beers.
Oh, I don't have a lot of money.
I don't know why you're laughing, mate. If you think you're broke now, just wait for the lawsuit. Come back. I'm joking. Sort of.
There we go.
Despite the guide's unfortunate oversight, thankfully Jed was uninjured.
I got you.
As for the guide, let's hope they suspended him. Right, Jed, do you want another go?
I'm not going back.
However, for the real risk takers among us, there's the chance to take our holiday experiences to dizzy new heights. The sky's the limit. Provided you can get up there in the first place. Right, park that. Let's try something else. Now this is more like it. Paramotoring is an incredible way to see a holiday destination from up high, like this guy did when he took an aerial cruise over the Utah desert. Now the guidebook said there's a really great canyon worth checking out right about here. Not this one. You've missed the turn, you fool. Oh, God. Eject! Eject! Sorry, forgot. You can't eject in a paraglider.
Holy crap, I'm okay. That thing saved my life.
Saved your life? It almost killed you.
Of course, I was stupid to fly in a canyon with no exit.
Yep, there's a reason we call it a dead end. You were lucky.
Hey, at least this time I found part of my freaking prop.
This time? What, you mean this isn't your first crash? If I'd known that, I wouldn't have climbed in the back with you.
Oh my gosh.
Right, as much as I'd love to stick around this canyon and do some yodeling, how are we getting back?
Now comes like the 2 or 3 mile trek home.
Oh, I should have just taken the coach trip. At the summit of all holiday adventures is the skydive. And despite it being one of the more death-defying holiday activities, it's actually pretty easy to learn. Provided you don't book yourself on a crash course. Meet skydiving instructor Mike Robinson, who witnessed and filmed a terrifying mid-air mishap 12,000 feet above the town of Superior in Wisconsin.
We had 2 airplanes, 9 skydivers, and 2 pilots. All of us were either instructors or coaches. We're nearing the end of the day, the sun is getting low in the sky, and we have time for one more jump before sunset.
With the sun going down and everyone exhausted from a hard day's work, you'd think they'd keep this plain and simple, wouldn't you?
We took off, and the airplanes fly in formation with each other. So we have what we call a lead airplane, and we had a trail airplane. And what was supposed to happen is we'd fly up to 12,000 feet in the formation where the lead plane is ahead and the trail plane is behind and to the left and a little bit below. So the pilot in that plane can see the lead airplane.
That does sound simple. Can't imagine what went wrong.
We've done this jump many times in the past, and there's never been an issue at all.
I'll hold you to that.
I was halfway out, just taking my grips on my 2 partners when bang, we got hit from the top, and the wing came off and blew up right above our head.
Whoa! That was insane! And because everyone aboard the planes was wearing a helmet cam, we get to see it again! And again!
What happened was the pilot of the trail plane got distracted, I believe, when his jumpers were climbing out. And he lost sight of the trail plane. And what happened was he came up over the top of the lead plane and came down and hit us right on top.
See, I told you should have kept it simple.
What that did was it tore our wing off, and our plane spiraled to the ground, and then the other wing came off.
So you've bailed out of flaming wreckage at 12,000 feet? It's lucky you were wearing parachutes.
Our goal at that point was to get away from all of the bad stuff that was going on in the air, which we could see our airplane spiraling down to the ground, nose down. Then the left wing comes off the airplane and it's kind of spiraling and it goes right past us. So, you know, that's something we don't want to get hit by.
I figured you lot were going to be okay. You're trained skydivers. What happened to the pilots after the planes went into a nosedive?
Our pilot was able to bail out with his emergency parachute. He was cut in the face, his windshield had shattered into his face and cut his hand, but he was able to get out, open his emergency parachute, go to the ground. The other pilot in the trail plane, his airplane was damaged, but fortunately he was able to fly it and pretty well glide it in for a landing on the runway. All of us landed at the landing area. I mean, it's amazing. It's been called a miracle. I guess it is. Our group is called Miracle 11 because we had this experience in the air and we all survived.
Is everybody down?
So it really was a miracle. Everyone involved walked away with just a few scratches. Mainly from scratching their heads saying, how on earth didn't we die? And if you're thinking about taking up skydiving, don't let this footage put you off. It really is a blast. In a moment, we'll see what our holidaymakers catch on camera when they're all at sea. Well, they must be enjoying it. She's head over heels.
She's not gonna fall, is she?
I don't know. You tell us. You're the one who strapped her in there. Her mate can't believe what's happened. She thinks she's having her leg pulled. Well, she is. Literally. It's the only thing her friend can hold on to. More importantly, she's also clung to her selfie stick. We would have shown you what she shot, but unfortunately it was all upside down. Another water sport that's popular with our holidaymakers is jet skiing. And here's one who doesn't give a flying flip. In fact, he gives 8. And the bad news, he doesn't fail once. But when you take a holiday near the ocean, things can happen that you just don't see coming. Meet keen surfers Leanne and Michael, whose passion for the sport takes them all around the world, including famous surfing location, Sri Lanka. What?
The holiday to Sri Lanka was pretty last minute. We wanted to go somewhere a little bit off the beaten track, and Sri Lanka at the time wasn't really somewhere that many people went for tourism.
Sri Lanka is a great place for watching the night sky, and seeing stars is exactly what happened to Leanne.
I remember looking around and I didn't really look properly.
Whoa! I didn't really look properly. Let's see that again. Oh, yeah! Wipeout!
And then after that, I was just pretty much out of it. I just remember like being really like dazed and confused.
What about if we saw it again in super slow-mo? Would that help clear up the confusion?
And it was just unlucky for me that the guy who was surfing that wave didn't know how to go around me. So yeah, it was just an unfortunate accident.
That unfortunate accident nearly killed the love of your life, Michael. What did you do? Come on, give us some drama.
As soon as I got over to Leanne, she basically like passed out. So yeah, I was obviously pretty alarmed. So I made sure her head was up. Like, so obviously that there was no water, like she wouldn't drown or anything like that. And then yeah, just obviously tried to get her in to shore as quickly as possible. We were really lucky that there happened to be a paramedic there. So he was out surfing amongst us, and he obviously saw what happened, and he like rushed over to Leanne and gave her some advice and checked her all over and stuff. So yeah, it was really lucky that he was there, for sure.
To find a medic smack bang in the middle of all this is incredible odds. But how badly was Leanne hurt?
So my injuries were mainly to my head. the left side. I had a pretty huge lump for about a week after the accident. I did go back to the hospital when I was in the UK because I was getting like really bad headaches, and they did an x-ray, and apparently I had some bones that I must have like actually broken, and they'd healed a bit weird. So yeah, I probably should have gone to the hospital in Sri Lanka. I was lucky that that day there was a lot of people out in the water, and I had a lot of people to come and help me. So yeah, I do get a bit scared when I look back and think about it.
Well, Leanne, you'd better look away right now. Oh dear. In future, Leanne, stick to surfing the web. Leanne was only physically injured, but when this guy was rescued from the sea, it was his ego that took a severe beating. The holidaymaker got into trouble in heavy seas on the Ibethan coast. Luckily for him, there were 4 other tourists ready to help him out. Unluckily, he chose the wrong day to go skinny dipping. Don't worry, mate. This is between you and these 4 guys. They won't tell a soul. Can't say the same about whoever's filming with this drone, mind. After a lengthy explanation about how he got in a fight with an octopus and it stole his trunks, the swimmer got helped out of harm's way. Then he had the bare-faced cheek to try to bum a lift home. Sorry, fella. I think they just leave you there clinging to a rock stark naked. I have to be honest, there's not a lot of muscles on show here, but I think I just spotted a cockle. Now, from ocean low to mountain high. The height of stupidity, in fact. A lot of holidays these days seem to end up on the rocks. In fact, more than 200,000 Brits call themselves climbers.
Go on, Callum. Go on.
But don't forget, guys, what goes up must come down.
Oh!
Okay, it sounds worse than it was. He broke some ribs and his thumb, but was climbing again in no time. His mates did give him a ribbing, though, which went a long way towards replacing the ones he'd just broken. The great thing about going climbing is that the world is your playground. Like this guy presumed when he decided to scale this massive icicle in Switzerland. Someone told him he should try breaking the ice with his new climbing buddies, but this wasn't exactly what they had in mind. See? I warned you what would happen if you kept picking at it. But if you think that's peak insanity, you ain't seen nothing yet. Meet 23-year-old Robert Duncan, whose relaxing river-based holiday took a scary turn, thanks to a heavy dose of peer pressure from his daredevil brother.
I was on holiday with my brother, kayaking down the Danube in the middle of Romania, and we saw this huge structure reaching up into the sky. And he says, we can't go without climbing that pylon there. And I look at him and I look at the pylon and I think, nah, like, come on, we can leave this one. So he says, right, okay. Goes over to the thing and starts climbing up this ladder, gets to the first stage. And I'm sitting in the kayaks thinking, okay, when's he going to come back down? Then I see him go up the ladder to the next stage and I think, okay, well, I can't just sort of stand here whilst he's having all the fun and doing that.
Come on, you're supposed to be the sensible one, Robert.
Lord. This is really not good for my heart right now.
Yeah, it's great for your heart.
So your brother has a medical degree as well as a death wish.
It was scariest going up to maybe the 3rd level, because up until that point, if you fall down, you know you're just gonna be in a lot of pain and there's a chance of survival. But after that, there's pretty much no chance of survival. So you kind of relax in a sort of weird way. Because you realise that no matter what you do, like if you fall, that's it, it's game over.
Yes, that's absolutely the best way to relax, contemplating imminent certain death.
So that was my mentality at the point, because this thing was like rusty, very, very rusty and old.
And relying on the welding of a communist welder who probably wasn't being paid very much.
Those communist builders made things to last. Look at the Berlin Wall. Okay, bad example.
And my blood's rushing and I'm just thinking like, I'm being extra careful, like really slow, like a sloth sort of climbing like this, putting a hand on each bar, you know, never more than 1 point of contact off, you know, moving sort of 3 points of contact on the whole time. And I'm just thinking like, oh, I just want to get this over with pretty much. Get to the top and I'm just like, okay, this is good. Now let's get down, you know. And James, oh, look at this amazing view. And I'm just like, oh.
I feel physically ill. I feel sick as a pipe. Oh, there's a gap in the ladders.
Yeah.
Hello.
Still, look at that view.
When I got to the top, I mean, I'm there just taking in the scenery. We could see the Danube going sort of past us, and then this vast expanse of agricultural Romania, really. This thing was old, like really old.
Legitimately, I can feel the structure wibbling, I think is the right word. Wibbling in the wind.
When I was climbing the pylon, I was thinking to myself, Mum's not going to be happy.
Oh, she'll be furious.
I just thought to myself as well, I've just got to come down this in one piece, I suppose.
You'll be fine, as long as you climb down in a normal, non-insane fashion.
Why am I going down this forwards? What a stupid idea.
Climbing down was, I'd say, possibly the best part of the experience. It was like coming down off an adrenaline high. And then, yeah, by the time I got to the end, I think I wanted to just push on with the trip.
Oh, I should think that's quite enough fun for one day.
If I see another tower, I'd have a lot of doubt. I'll assess it to see if it's safe enough to climb, but I'm sure there'll be always someone to hand to twist my arm and and encourage me to go climb it.
Now, we wouldn't recommend anyone climb a rickety old structure like this pair. They could have died. Leave it to the trained professionals. Like this Romanian couple, who love nothing more than to spend their holidays climbing the country's tallest buildings. Let's meet the guys. This is Flaviu and Anna. Hang on. Are you sure we've got the right people here? Aren't these just some bandana models mucking about in a tent? Whoa. Nope, that's our guys.
So we like climbing, I like challenges, I like technical challenges, I'm a technical person. We have a different approach to it, and you know, it's a lifestyle of adventure.
You say adventure, I say bonkers. Still, I guess it doesn't get more bonkers than pitching a tent up the top of a terror tower. Flaviu and Anna might be completely mad, but they're also professional athletes and acrobats. They've impressed the online world with their danger holidays, including a trip to the top of Europe's tallest death trap, the Trbolje chimney in Slovenia. Built in 1976, it's 360 meters tall. Somewhere you should not be headed unless you're a professional climber. Or maybe a pigeon.
We climb, you know, anything that we seem like it fits within our possibility. But then on chimneys, some of them are really, they open possibilities, or they just show up challenges in your mind. Otherwise, it would be just another chimney.
I'm concerned that some of the possibilities that your holiday activities open up include certain death. Normally, when I'm on holiday, if I want to get around, I just Uber it. I see you prefer to make things a little bit more, what's the word, heart-stoppingly horrifying?
It's just about a challenge and a creation and an opportunity. I do it because, you know, I feel like I can. After all these years, I like to climb chimneys and I like to ride unicycles. So then just putting these together is natural.
Well, at least I know you're getting 3 of your 5 a day. Okay, 2 of your 5 a day. Flaviu and Anna love their climbing holidays so much that Flaviu decided to pop the question on top of, yep, you've guessed it, a really tall Romanian chimney.
We are married, but not in not officially. We haven't been to the civil state, or how you call that. So we made our own marriage. Eventually, we'll do a real one.
An illegal marriage. No papers.
Obviously not legal, mainly because they couldn't find a vicar stupid enough to climb the chimney. But you know what they say, the couple that climbs ridiculously high brick structures together stays together. In a moment, we're getting wild and weird as we drop in some of the UK's most anarchic events. action cam at the ready. He clearly wants everyone to know just how brave he is. But did you spot the real tragedy here? Mate, check your pockets. Taking a smartphone on a bungee jump is a pretty dumb move. But there are some attractions out there, particularly in the US of A, that are just begging to be shared. First stop, Brandon, Iowa, home of the biggest frying pan in Iowa. Turns out it's not the biggest in the world, or even America. But at almost 15 feet tall, it could still fry 528 eggs at once. No wonder America has an obesity problem. Now, the only time I've ever decorated a toilet is after a fiery curry. But not this sprightly fella. He's the curator of America's only toilet seat art museum, featuring over 1,300 hand-painted toilet seats. Who says art's a load of crap? If all this excitement hasn't left you feeling washed out, there's still time for one more attraction. Lee Maxwell's Washing Machine Museum is rated the #1 thing to do in Hurrich, Colorado on TripAdvisor. And with good reason.
It was really the electric motor that made the washing machine popular.
It's good, clean fun. Ask him nicely and he'll get one out and take you for a spin. But for something even more exhilarating, keep calm and carry on, just across the pond to Great Britain. Brits may not have the weather, but when it comes to putting on weird and wonderful events for the benefit of tourists, they throw caution to the wind. Just like this. Every year, the annual World Black Pudding Throwing Championship is held in the town of Ramsbottom in England. Even though these puddings look like something that came from a real ram's bottom, they're made from pig's blood. And the contest isn't a piece of cake either. The aim is to knock Yorkshire puddings off this 20-foot plinth by tossing your porky projectiles high into the air. Personally, I think it's awful. Get it? Awful! Now for a different kind of event altogether. Roll up your trousers, stuff your socks full of hay, and get stuck into this shindig. The annual shin-kicking championships in the Cotswolds sees contestants attempt to trash their opponents' tibias. In a no-hold-barred combat tournament that's been taking place here since the early 17th century. The rules are simple. Find someone you have a bone to pick with, and kick them in the shins till they hit the deck. And it's given many a holidaymaker a big break. However, I think I'll sit this one out. I'd rather get plastered at the cider tent than in A&E. But when it comes to British holidays, there's an event in Gloucestershire that really takes the biscuit. Meet Chris Anderson, who's going to tell us all about it.
There's been 2 broken necks, a good few amount of leg breaks, broken wrist, dislocated shoulder. I was knocked out myself, bruised kidneys also done. I broke my ankle.
What the hell, Chris? That sounds brutal.
And then you just get the small injuries like cuts, grazes, stings from the stinging nettles.
Right, now you've got me really confused.
Life's for living, so push yourself to the max.
So, what is this blood sport, Chris? Mixed martial arts? Contact tiddlywinks?
My claim to fame is cheese rolling.
If that has you rolling in the aisles, allow me to bring you back down to earth with a bump. Because cheese rolling is spectacularly rough and tumble.
Everyone chases after the cheese down the hill. And then the first person to the bottom of the hill wins the cheese that you chase.
But regardless of whether you get your hands on this 8-pound wheeler double Gloucester, you're guaranteed to eat dirt. Chris has won more than 20 times, which I guess makes him the big cheese.
I find once I'm running, it's just kind of trying to run, stay on my feet. If I fall over, get on my feet as fast as possible. And then once I'm at the bottom of the hill, you just kind of get sort of adrenaline rush from it. And the adrenaline kind of masks any injuries.
But the best thing, holidaymakers are more than welcome. They really roll out the red carpet for their international guests.
I think this year there was German crews. One of the Japanese guys at the front here in the blue knocked himself out just now. He went down the left-hand side of the hill, which is a big no-no. He was from Australia. I don't know why he would go down in underwear. He's rolling down through all the stinging hills. I think the people who come here on like holidays, I imagine they would think that we're pretty crazy and a bit mad, but then a lot of them want to come and try it, so obviously some of them are a bit crazy as well.
The most recent Grand Prix racked up all the usual bumps and bruises. Let's pay fromage to some of the standout competitors.
This is a ladies' race. A girl who's just fallen over. On winning this race, she became joint women's champion. Flo, her name was.
Should have been Flu.
You're always going to be in a bit of a bad way if you're starting to fall backwards down the hill.
And some competitors really don't help themselves.
I was speaking to this guy before the race and told him not to wear his rucksack, and he come out badly.
Not only that, but his sandwiches were a right state. And he smashed his Wotsits to smithereens.
This lad, we've nicknamed this guy the bouncing bomb. And he would have beaten me in this race had he not knocked himself out.
Thank the Lord for minor concussion. But this time, it was all about one man, Chris, who was here to claim the record for the most number of cheeses won by anyone ever.
This is my race. You see the guy pulling my shirt. I've taken a bit of a fall in the yellow shirt. But you can see every time I fall over, I get back on my feet quick.
This stunning victory earned Chris's place on the Roll of Honour for the 22nd time. Smile for the camera, and don't forget to say cheese. There were no fatalities this year, thank God. But Chris, surely it's time you jumped headlong into a new sport. Shin kicking, perhaps?
I think ours is probably one of the most craziest, but personally for me, I would never do shin kicking.
Well, I guess you've got to draw the line somewhere. That's all for now. Just remember to pack your smartphone the next time you go on holiday. Or you could find yourself between a rock and a hard place. Goodbye. Get ready for the trip of a lifetime. This is the series that brings you the most incredible and downright shocking holiday behaviour. Capturing stupid antics on smartphones. With a camera in every tourist's pocket, we're getting into the action like never before. Raw, real and uncensored. This is the world's wildest holidays. Coming up, we go all wobbly on the piste. There's a dust-up at a bus stop and an incredible journey on a tiny motorbike. Unless you decide to stay in your back garden, holidays inevitably involve travel. And if there's one thing we can be certain of, it's that all forms of transport can be very, very dangerous. This lad was backpacking around the world and was just about to record a video message for back home. Holy freight trains, that was close! Let's have another look. Millimeters from death, but what actually hit him? It's a kick in the head! Mr. Driver, you're meant to stamp his ticket, not his face. Presumably he'll be in shock after that.
Wow, that guy kicked me in the head! I think I got that on film!
Yes, you did catch it on film. On the plus side, it might have knocked some sense into you. Surely the least dangerous form of transport has to be the bus. Nah, not this one. This bus is on the notorious Besisahar Shame Road in Nepal. And yes, that is a 2,000-foot drop with no guardrail.
Oh my God!
OMGs all round. I bet they're glad they're inside a nice, safe bus.
Said that these doors may not be that secure.
In that case, don't lean on them! This must be the most dangerous bus trip in the world. Apart from the night bus in Glasgow, of course. Hold on, where's he going?
So we've now got to a stage where the roof rack's going to get stuck under the overhang. So Rinku's had to go ahead and scope out the height so we can get through with a van. It's the narrowest piece of road we've been down.
Presumably, this could mean going even nearer the edge. Oh, I thought it might.
Absolutely the maddest road I've ever been down.
Blimey, thank goodness that's over. Surely it can't get any worse than that.
Look at that! Oh my word.
Ah, yes. Of course, a huge waterfall.
Absolutely amazing. Ready? It's going to look good. It's going to destroy the camera.
If I remember my maths correctly, rock plus water times slippy road carried to 4 equals... Get me off this bus!
Whoa, here we go. Oh no! Stop! I can't close the window.
All right, a wet seat. That's the least of your worries, pal.
Nobody can sit there now.
After that trip, I think all the seats are going to be wet. How about another bus that likes going off-road? Yep, here's the bus. Looks pretty standard. Until it does this. No, the driver hasn't made a terrible error. This is the amphibibus that crosses the Terengganu River in Malaysia. What a very good idea. If you ever do go on it, try to get a seat on the top deck, unless you're very good at holding your breath. But by far the most common travel fear isn't trains or buses, it's planes, and for a good reason. Here's a plane trying to land at the airport on the popular holiday island of Madeira. As you'll notice, it's quite hilly. In fact, the runway is uphill. Bing bong! This is your captain speaking. Today, just to mix things up a bit, we've decided to land sideways. It must be a work experience, pilot. That explains it. Let's have another go, eh? Because 10 minutes later, the fog's rolled in, and he's going for another sideways landing. This must be a queasy jet flight. It's a good job the plane's a long way away, because the sound of passengers screaming can give you a headache. Try number 3. Come on, fella. You need to do this to get your pass in GCSE piloting. How does he make it hover like that? That is not normal. And third time lucky. Thank heavens. Bing bong. Doors to manual. Cross-check and please wait until you're in the arrivals area before throwing up or releasing your bowels. But after all those terrifying transport tales, here's a guy who's made a career out of circumnavigating the world. And if he's done that, he must be really smart. Okay, maybe not smart exactly. Let's meet the guy and hope for the best.
Ow. My name is Ed March, I'm from Devon, I'm an adventure motorcyclist, and the most unique thing about the way that I travel is that I do it on a pizza delivery bike.
Somebody, somewhere, is going to be waiting quite a while for their margarita. Anyway, back to the story.
I had a small, slow bike, which is nice and cheap, and I thought everybody around the world rides one of these, so I'm going to post it to the furthest landmass from England, fly there and try and ride it home.
If you post a motorbike, good luck getting it in a jiffy bag. So where did you go?
This is me on my first ever trip. That's going through Thailand. And just every single day there was something that you just did not expect to see, like, you know, bikes carrying 500 ducks on the back. Petrol stations that don't have pumps, they just keep all of the petrol in Coke bottles and they get out of the funnel. That's me going over the Himalayas, and I kept finding hitchhikers and taking them over toll. The only way to make a bike with 6 horsepower go slower is to put a hitchhiker on the back. That was Christmas Day in Thailand, 4-foot-high Christmas tree on the back.
Very festive. But anyone could do that. Show us something more unusual.
This was the footage that terrified my mum, where I bribed the Cambodian army with £200. I was riding around one-handed, firing belt-fed machine guns and throwing live hand grenades.
I'm holding a live hand grenade.
When you're holding a hand grenade with the pin pulled out, it's pretty terrifying. But fun.
Oh. Messing about with guns and bombs is really very daft, Ed. Even if the Cambodian army say it's okay. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to call your mum. But did you have any experiences that were properly scary?
Yeah, this was, that was as I was in India.
That lorry is going rather fast. That's the wrong side of the road. That is ever so close. I hope nothing terrible happens. Whoa, Nelly!
There is complete silence from me for about 5 seconds.
Yep, complete silence from Ed, broken only by the lorry driver's cries for help.
I can't even compute what's going on. There's this thing in your brain where you're like, is this gonna blow up? What do I do?
I'll tell you what you do. Get the hell out of there. She's gonna go up. And while you're doing that, give us some facts and figures about your trip.
I've done about 120,000 miles over 5 years in total. I reckon overall I'll be happier if I actually fill my head with memories rather than a thing that's made of bricks, you know, and that was it really. I just wanted to see the world, and I thought I would rather die poor and have loads of memories rather than be rich and have just stayed at the same job for the whole of my life, really.
Let's hope Ed's memories go up in value so he can have a happy retirement. Incidentally, if anyone wants to buy a Honda C90 motorbike, 120,000 miles, one careful owner, are you totally crazy? Some more holiday mayhem in a mo, but first, take a look at this. Some guys were on holiday in the Australian outback when they spotted something you don't see every day. But can you guess what happens next? The dog's free. Run away! Or face him out. Hold on. Did he really do what I thought he did? Now bear in mind, a kangaroo kick can easily disembowel a human. Come on, put him up, put him up! Have that! It's hard to tell from the look in the kangaroo's face whether he's stunned or worried what the other kangaroos are going to say. When people go on snowy holidays, they often think they're being pretty cool. They get to wear groovy shades, hang about on the slopes, and film themselves doing it. And when the slippy snow makes people fall flat on their faces, it's always worth watching. Right, let's kick off with an easy one. Before you even get on the snow, you've got to get off the lift. Shouldn't be too tricky, should it? Ah, yes, perhaps it is. That's enough of people falling over on skiing holidays. Only joking. We've got plenty more of the good stuff. Take this guy, for instance. His state of wobbliness would indicate that après-ski has been enjoyed. All he needs to do is get his feet in the skis. Yeah, no. He'll be fine. Perhaps the après-ski will act as antifreeze. Right, let's have a look at this lad. All right, a young snowboarder. He's got all the gear. Looks like he knows what he's doing. No, he doesn't. Never mind, it's only a minor setback. Just pick yourself up. Dust yourself down. Get in position. And fall down all over again. He clearly doesn't have a clue what he's doing. How about wobbly guy? Aye, he's still at it. Bit of a struggle. Oh, look, a horse. But at least he's got a mate to help him. Ah, a friend in need is a chance to shove someone onto their face. What a shambles! Hold on, this gives me an idea. It's a battle royale. Wobbly guy versus newbie. Who will get on their feet first? Game on! Right, here's newbie for his third attempt. He's getting some tips from the attendant. And as expected. And there's some seconds for you. I hope you haven't got anywhere to go, because this might take a while. Wobbly guy has finally got his skis on. Can he take the prize here? I've got a tip for you. Pick your friends more carefully. It's newbie again. Has he learned anything? Oh, a disaster. But at least he's got a couple of meters up the slope, so that's an improvement, I suppose. Hurry up, mate. Your lift pass only lasts a week. Right, wobbly guy and his mate are working together. Bosh! And boom! Man down. Again. Come on, newbie. The crown's there for the taking. All you need to do is get up the slope. It's an unorthodox tactic, but it's working so far until it doesn't. Hopeless. Come on, man. It's not water skiing. Whatever floats your boat. Hold on. Hold on. This is looking tasty. Could it be just a little bit further? I'm really sorry about this. I didn't expect it to take this long. But seeing as we're in it for the long haul, let's give Wobbly Guy one more chance. Oh, because he is up and on his feet. And on his backside. Come on, newbie. Can you just manage to stay on your feet for once, please? Right, hold on to your hats and your ski lift thing, whatever they're called. He's off. He's hanging. This could be it. Just a few more meters. Yes! Yes! He's done it! Newbie has beaten Wobbly Guy in the battle to stay upright. It was a truly epic contest, but in the end, there could only be one winner. Gravity. Keep your eye on the man on the sledge hurtling towards the camera. I guess after skidding down a mountain on your bum, it's time to hit the bar. Oh! If he's like this when he gets to the bar, what's he going to be like when he leaves? Now we travel to Eastern Europe, where a mountain rescue professional who was snowed under at work escaped to the slopes for a quick holiday and found himself under some snow, which is ironic, if you think about it.
So my name is Sorin Alexandru Radu. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Romania. I'm currently a volunteer at a mountain rescue team, and I went there to train for 1 week, but it was a foggy weather for the last 3 days. And when I've seen sunshine, my first thought was to go on top of the mountain and try to go for a run.
For a mountain rescuer, it's a bit of a busman's holiday, if you ask me. Still, must have been nice to be back out in the slopes after all that fog.
Because of the different weather conditions, it just creates different layers, just like on a cake. So you have sunny weather, afterwards it snows and it gets colder, afterwards it's sunny again.
That sounds dangerous, but off you go. So what happened next? All right, a flippin' avalanche happened next. This is what an avalanche looks like from the inside.
I was trying somehow to swim in the snow and stay on top of it. If the avalanche it would go on for another 4-5 seconds, I think I wouldn't have this interview with you anymore.
Come on, you're being a bit overdramatic. You can always count on your brave and hard-working mountain rescue colleagues to save you.
I had to take out myself from the snow. I radioed the guys from the rescue team, and I went through the radio and, guys, can you bring me a shovel? And they were, man, dude, the slopes are quite busy, we can't go.
What? So these mountain rescue guys are too busy to rescue you, a mountain rescuer off a mountain? This world, eh?
And after 1 minute, I've tried to take my right foot out of the snowboard. It took something like 5 minutes. It was easy. But the left one, it took me around 35 minutes to get it out because the snow just pushed me in front and I was just leaning in front of the snowboard.
Doesn't sound too bad when you tell it like that.
Man, it was a huge avalanche.
Okay, fair enough. But Soren, having dug yourself out of a snowy grave, have you got any advice for holidaymakers who get trapped in a similarly snowy situation?
When you're going on with all these extreme sports, you kind of take your own risk. So the best way to be safe in an avalanche is not to get involved in one.
And if you do get caught in an avalanche, don't call mountain rescue because they'll be too busy. From the treacherous snowy slopes to the haven of the sandy beach, where it ought to be about kicking back and relaxing in the shade. These two senior gentlemen are in a dispute about who got to the beach umbrella first. They're throwing shade about being in the shade.
You've got everything else.
First rule of diplomacy, always keep a channel of negotiation open. That's it, mate. Stand on the table. Then you're more or less the same height. That is a proper WWE wrestling move. If he doesn't call it the beer cooler, he really should. Ha! If this was on pay-per-view, they'd raise at least enough for an ice lolly. Maybe they're doing it to show off in front of their partners. She does seem keen on the bloke in the hat. All that testosterone. You're a tiger. Some British tourists were waiting to catch a bus in Ibiza when they filmed an altercation between a bus driver and two passengers. The bus driver's clearly not afraid to take on a younger man, but he hadn't reckoned with the tactics of his girlfriend. That's what's known in the trade and playgrounds throughout the land as an atomic wedgie.
Really not sure what's going on.
I don't know what's going through the driver's mind. He got out of his pants by the looks of things. What's going on is a 2-on-1 bundle. This is shocking behaviour. Eventually, the bystanders saw sense and came in to break it up and pulled the younger man away from the driver. All that did was leave an opening for the girl to take over. Eventually, the bystanders just gave up trying to stop it and let them get on with it for a bit. Pull up a chair. Surely they'd lose interest once his pants were up again. Nope. Round two. Eventually the fight ended, but the poor driver had to go to hospital to have his underpants surgically removed from his bottom. Typical. You wait ages for a bus-related punch-up, and then two come along at once. A traveller in the Philippines caught this Barney between a driver and a conductor on camera. Look out, there's a bus stop coming. Bus stop? Bus stop? Ah, never mind. I'm not convinced by their technique. I think they need a bit of coaching. But after a few moments, the passengers do the sensible thing and leg it off the bus. What are they fighting about? Oh, maybe it's who's in charge of the remote control for the movie on the onboard TV. The driver wants Fast and Furious 8, The Fate of the Furious, and the conductor wants Frozen. It's a common problem. Eventually, they agree to disagree. The conductor got off, and the passengers got back on. If any of them haven't paid for their ticket yet, it's their lucky day. It goes to show that picking a holiday punch-up is never a great idea. And it's an even worse one to pick a fight with a bouncer. They're bouncers for a reason. This doorman has his eye on two lads who've just been chucked out of a bar in Ireland. Can't imagine why. And they appear a little unhappy about it. Now they're taking it up with the gentleman on the door. Dear, oh dear, there was absolutely no need for that. Possibly seen a few too many Jackie Chan movies. Here it comes. Oof! And again.
Game over.
I have to say, I think they had it coming.
He's gone.
Come on, guys. Leave it. This doorman knows his stuff. You wouldn't let it lie, would you? And now you're lying. On the ground. In the end, they wobbled off with their tails between their legs. You're not coming in here. In fact, the only place you're going is hospital. In a few moments, we'll be hitting the beach. But before then, we're in the car park near the beach. Not much to see right now. Bit of reversing going on. But something spectacular is about to be caught on camera. Can you guess what happens next? Well, it's not a low-speed denting incident or a parking fine being issued. It's a bit more dramatic than that. There she blows. That is going to be a very interesting insurance claim.
Wow.
Assuming your car hasn't been crushed by a landslide, there are only 3 essentials you need for a day at the beach. Sun cream, ice cream, and most important of all, a camera phone. And that's so you're always ready to capture the action when beaches bite back. Don't believe me? Check this out. This baby is getting its first taste of laid-back beach life. There you go, littlin. Breathe it all in. Yeah, thanks, Dad. I'm not sure what's more worrying, the fact it's been dressed in a curtain or that it's been traumatised by a wave. When there's a storm raging near the coast, don't stand on the beach. Make sure to be at a safe distance away on the promenade. Where are they off to? Second thoughts, make sure you're at a safe distance by staying indoors. As we've seen, beaches are not to be trusted, so this couple have been all different and decided to hold their wedding not on a beach, but on a small pier. Yes, very groovy. Attractive friends, attractive couple, able to afford all the travel to some exotic location for the ceremony. Everything is absolutely perfect. Lucky them. Mind you, that is quite a lot of people in that rickety old wood pier. You might want to... Think about holding the ceremony underwater? Yep, that's pretty much the entire wedding party in the sea. Perhaps they planned a collapsing pier, so you'd all have some really cool anecdotes about our wedding later, yeah? Okay, if you've enjoyed those soggy clips, we've got one more for you. Meet newlyweds, Marilyse and Ryan Dreyer, who nearly waved goodbye to their lives as they travelled the world on their honeymoon.
We decided for a honeymoon, rather than just a week or two away at a nice expensive hotel, we'd actually go travelling. The plan was we did Southeast Asia, went to South Africa for Christmas to visit the family.
Everything was going swimmingly until Marilyse decided to get creative with a camera on a South African beach, a decision that led to honeymoon horror.
I had an idea of a photo that I wanted. I had spotted this amazing rock and the waves had been crashing over it, lovely, and we'd been checking out for quite some time.
Right, Marilyse, so you're perched on a rock near a raging sea. You've got your photo op. I can't imagine what'll happen next. Cue a big wave? Nah, that's a bit small. Can you do any better? That's more like it.
Yeah, that's very scary. My heart's actually racing a bit looking at it, actually.
And the big wave hadn't just ruined their photo. It had something special in store for Marilyse too.
Because it was so slippery and green mossiness around us, I was trying to hold on for dear life. And I had put my foot into a crevice to try and basically keep myself on the rocks. And then when the bigger wave came, that must have just, the force of the wave just threw me out of the crevice of the rock. And that As soon as I came back out bobbing on the other side, my ankle was flopping around everywhere.
Flopping hell!
The doctor, after having x-rayed it 3 times, explained to me that I had a bimalleolar fracture and dislocation, which was very big words for telling me that both of the bottom ends of my ankle had broken off.
That sounds horrific. Once they'd opened up her ankle, inserted metal plates and pins and sewed her back up again, she was half woman, half IKEA bookcase. But since this wave nearly took you to your grave, have you got any of that famous near-death experience wisdom to lay on us?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to give some advice on what we learned from the incident, I would always say, yeah, go for it. I mean, if you want the photo, do it.
I'm not sure your wife agrees. Hashtag awkward. Surely there's nothing safer than a holiday at the biggest theme park in the world. In Disney World here, everything's laid out for you. You don't even need to leave the park. The entertainment comes to you. Great! It's the Disney Parade! And there's the fairy godmothers from Sleeping Beauty. Now that is a classic film. None of your CGI nonsense. Hold on. What's that? The dragon is on fire. I mean, really, on fire. Repeat, the dragon is on fire. I'm no expert, but if there was a 30-foot animatronic mythical lizard with a built-in flamethrower on fire near me, I'd probably move a lot further back. Like the next state. Tell you what, you've got to respect this dragon. Even when its head is an inferno, he's still following the script. What a trooper. Yes, when fire strikes on holiday, it can be a truly terrifying thing. As we've seen, sometimes holidays can be a little bit too hot, as was the case in May 2018, when a hotel fire in Magaluf made headlines across the world. The papers claimed that the fire was started by some lads setting each other's feet alight. Can't be right, can it? To find out the real story, we got in touch with John Wilkes, an actual eyewitness.
Rufus, in your bed.
To this hotel horror story.
So, me and my dad went on a stag do to Magaluf. It was absolutely epic. Magaluf is a place of dreams. It's just like, you go there, you get pissed, you pull girls, or boys, whatever you're into. You know, it's just express yourself. It's full of like things that you wouldn't do normally when you're at home. Girls out of Magaluf, they're fruity, they're fun, they express themselves. That's the best way to put it.
OK, John, I'm glad you and your dad had fun with the fruity senoritas, but we got you here to tell us about the distressing incident that took place right in front of your eyes.
This is my dad's video that he recorded. It is crazy. You can see the fire. If you look on the balcony, like there's only a tiny bit of flame, and then if you give it like 5 or 6 seconds, there you go. Now it's just exploded. It's gone massive, and then people are running in and out. It gets more intense, it gets more real, it gets more scary.
As we said, the cause of the fire, according to the papers, was banter gone bad. Some guys setting each other's feet on fire. But as our on-the-scene accident investigator, John, what actually went down?
We still don't know what's happened.
OK, that's disappointing. But you must have some theories.
The actual story, who was involved, you only get second names. You're never going to know. And to be fair, still now, I'm still wondering what actually happened. Because I'd love to know why, if they were having a barbecue, why are you having a barbecue at an all-inclusive hotel?
That's a very good point. I hadn't thought of that.
If they were having a fag, why were you smoking in the no-smoking room, so you're daft? Or why were you setting your mate's feet on fire? Really? Unless they're proper hairy and you're burning the hairs off, why would you do that? It's stupid. So I'm still wondering, well, to this point, what happened? You know, why?
I'm definitely going with your unusually hairy feet theory, John. Thank you. OK, that was pretty wild. A hotel room on fire. But now we're going to up the ante with a holiday fire that was 120 kilometres long. Or to put it more vividly...
Fucking hell, look at this.
Meet Peter and Vera, whose family holiday to Australia took a turn for the worse after a foolish attempt at taking the scenic route through the bush.
So we went on holiday to Australia to do a road trip from Darwin to Adelaide. have family in Australia. When we were staying with our family in Whyalla, they decided to recommend a different route to go to Adelaide.
Who wants to get somewhere quickly on a nice, safe motorway?
The normal route is just kind of a motorway on the coast, and he said, now if you take sort of parallel, more inland roads, it's more interesting. You get to the hills, you have nice views, and so we did.
What they didn't realise is that one of these nice views would turn out to be something a lot more lethal. I'm starting to be a bit suspicious about Peter's Australian family.
Quite soon after committing to that road, we saw this big cloud appearing in the sky on the horizon. We thought it was a cloud, and it stayed there. It just looked like a big weather front. We just really enjoyed it.
Excited by weather? OK. Well, unfortunately for the weatherfront fans, this exciting weather event turned out to be a raging inferno.
We didn't have a sense of panic at that point,
No,
though.
not at
There was
all.
no sense of urgency, there was no sense of fear, there was no sense of danger. That changed quite quickly when a guy in a white pickup truck came down the opposite side of the highway.
Yeah. Turn around, mate. Get this way. Get here now. There's flames. Yeah. Thank you.
Hot on the heels of the truck driver's advice, Vera received a text that told her to turn on the radio. What she heard chilled them both, which could have been useful given the approaching flames.
Emergency warning for a bushfire burning under catastrophic conditions. There is a risk to lives and property. People in these areas are in danger.
It gave you a warning. It said if you are in this area, which is exactly where we were, it said do not drive, it's too late. Latent heat will kill you before the flames get to you.
Peter was starting to panic.
How the fucking hell are we going to get out of this?
Stopping. Slow down.
Oh no. Don't, Vera, we're in serious trouble here. Fucking hell, Vera, we're in the middle of a bushfire.
The fire had actually come round the back of us, and we were sort of almost in a polo mint effect now.
A polo mint? Now is not the time to compare a life-threatening bushfire to sweets.
And the fire had gone behind us. So we're going back down the only road that we had, the only exit we had.
Christ.
The only thing we can see is two lights in front of us. We're travelling at about 60 miles an hour in blackness, focused on two lights, knowing that if he makes a mistake or if he goes off the road, we are going off the road with him. We would have followed him over a cliff if he'd driven over a cliff. That's the panic at that point.
What you are looking at isn't nighttime. The sun was still up, but the smoke was so thick visibility was down to a few meters. And things were about to get worse for Peter and Vera.
The smoke started coming through the vents, and the temperature, which you don't get on the film, rose enormously. We were in trouble. It was absolute life and death at that moment in time. We were right on the verge. One mistake, left instead of right, brake instead of accelerate, or worse still, the car breaking down, which was the next issue we had. The air intake had gone, the car was running on pure gas rather than fuel and air. I could feel the car slowing, could feel the car coughing. If we'd stopped, it was game over. We were just barely ahead of the curve on this, but it was catching us.
Death by fire wasn't the only thing on his mind. Peter was already thinking about what would happen afterwards.
I was thinking very rationally. I was aware that there's no way I'm going to stop this film now, because I'm actually thinking that this is going to be our evidence, this is going to be our story when the phone is recovered.
Would the old adage, the night is darkest before the dawn, hold true?
We kept going and we came out of the smoke. Coming out of that, it was like a new dawn. I mean, and it was as sudden as going into it. We just whoosh and we're out in sunshine. It was a massively lucky escape for us. It's the closest thing in my life to dying. The things in life that you see, like the tsunami that happened, where you see the footage and you think, it doesn't look too bad. How can that possibly kill people? When you're looking at the water, it's 2 foot deep and it's going through this, how on earth? And when you look at bushfires, you have a similar attitude. You see these things and, you know, they're burning away and you look at them and you think, God, they look quite inert. But the power of them, the sheer force of nature and the sheer force, if you're in them, unbelievable.
That's very poetic, Peter. It seems this near-death experience has given you a more philosophical outlook on life.
How are gonna get out of this?
Or maybe not. Before we leave the world of holidays on fire, have a look at this. This speedboat has crashed into the bank of a lake. It's in flames, it's got a tank full of petrol, and it could go up at any moment. Question is, what happens next? Considering it's in flames and has a full tank of petrol, the most likely outcome is explosion.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what is he doing? Oh, yeah! Use a boat to save a boat. That is a great idea. Well done, speedboat driver. Good job, everybody. Oh, yeah, aye, better safe than sorry, eh? Great, that's definitely got it. Well played. Smashed it out the park. Boom! The flames are out, but there is a danger of it sinking now. What? What, again? No, there's really no need, it's just showing off now. Yeah, right, we've all seen what you can do with your big speedboat. Everyone thinks you're a hero. Got it. Oh, come on, there'll be no water left in the lake at this rate. Oh, for crying out loud. Let's leave him to it. So far this series, we've seen plenty of wild moments on the water, from holidays all at sea to burning ferries. But perhaps it's not the deep blue brine that we should be worried about, it's what's in it that the unsuspecting holidaymaker needs to watch out for. Ah, these playful dolphins are frolicking in the pool. Isn't it wonderful? But in fact, they're plotting against humanity. Don't believe me? Look at its face, gloating. It knows exactly what it's doing. What's that, Flipper? You want to play Fortnite? He'll be straight down the pub with that to offload it to his mate Squirty. 100 squid, easy money. He can pay off that loan shark now. Dolphins can't walk, yet, but something in the water has attracted a lot of attention on this Baltic beach. Is it a shark? A seal, maybe? OMG! It's a sea pig! The best thing to do with an aggravated amphibious pig or amphibipig is leave it alone, on account of it being 10 stone of muscle with tusks at one end. Oof. Ooh. They're acting as a team to try to distract it. And one brave soul decides to go head-to-head with a beastly boar and wrestle it, but he swiftly comes to his senses. Eventually, the boar made its escape along the beach. Thank goodness. Exactly what a pig was doing in the sea in the first place is anyone's guess. Once they team up with the dolphins, we are screwed. Meet Charlie Head, whose epic paddleboarding holiday became a mission of mercy when he spotted something out of the ordinary on a groin.
I was just coming to the end of a very long journey, stand-up paddleboarding along the entire south coast of the UK. Just gone round the corner from Ramsgate and coming up the Thames, and feeling exhausted. You know, I've been going for a few weeks solidly. And I was just coming along the coast there, and there was just long groin, and I could just see a really awkward mound of fluff sort of fumbling around.
If you weren't aware, a groin is the thing that sticks out into the sea from the beach, and this one had a distressed ball of fluff on it.
Whatever was on the end of this rock just wasn't designed to be there. Do you know what I mean?
That's a bit rich, coming from a man on a plank on the sea.
And I got closer and closer and closer. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a Shih Tzu.
It's not that bad. And don't call me Sue.
I mean, this thing looks like it's never left a handbag. So I paddled up to it, managed to call it onto the board, but to be honest, it was, you know, I can't really swear, but it was shitting itself. So I put it on the board, and then it just leapt off again. No. So I was like, all right, scooped it up, chucked it on, chucked it between my legs, and started to make very pathetic noises.
Just relax. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I was always a bit surprised with that when I look back at the video. I've never made noises like that before. I think it's because it was such a small, vulnerable dog that I made that really cute voice. Say, come on, Shih Tzu, come onto my board.
What are you doing out here? All right, let's get you in.
Whether it was a cute voice or a weird voice didn't matter, because it got the dog on board with the idea of being on board the board.
I managed to kind of calm it down a bit, stuck it between my legs, and glided back into shore.
So let me get this straight. You rescued a soggy doggy from a groin and nestled him in your groin, but spelt differently, obviously.
And then I looked around everywhere, but there was nothing. You know, it's just barren coastline and one pub. So I went to the pub and just got them to call the RSPCA and see if they could find anyone for it. And luckily, it had a chip inside of it, and so they were able to find the owner.
But how did this dog get out there in the first place? Was it chasing a catfish?
The dog slipped the collar of a potential new owner, and the dog bolted. And I just panicked, I guess, ran along the groin, or just saw this as his last moment of freedom. And then the tide came in and just caught him out.
Sounds like you and that little Shih Tzu had quite a lot in common.
Yeah, God knows when that dog last had an adventure. But this Shih Tzu went on one, for sure. It was a nice ending to a really hectic holiday.
That's it for this time, but come back soon, because as we've seen, there's a whole world of wild holiday moments out there. So what are you waiting for? Go on, knock yourself out.